I'm always passionate about highlighting the success of African cannabis in the global economy. And today we have the fortune of having Sosinsky from Together Pharma come on to discuss the massive 400 kilogram THC shipment from Uganda to Germany. Be sure to also stay tuned to the end where we're going to be showing some facility videos. Now onto the interview. Hi, it's great to have you on the show. I know the last time we spoke was in Canatech in 2019 in Cape Town. And since then, Together Pharma has had a lot of success. And that's why we're having you on today, because we've seen in the media the most recent shipment of 400 kilograms of THC flower, obviously to Germany from Uganda. And this is where I would like to maybe know a bit more about that flower shipment. Was it, primarily focused for extraction or dispensaries? And maybe you could tell us a bit more about the process.
Okay, so I will start with the process because that will explain everything. Our Ugandan facility is under GACP standards, meaning we have an European standard for growing and cultivating the flowers. We made a joint venture with a German facility, German company named Cantourage. They have the EU GMP facility in Germany. So we ship them 400 kilograms of two strains. One of them is, both of the strains are very high sellers in Israel. So we know they are going to be very good in Germany also. The flowers were sent under a GACP protocol, meaning they've been untrimmed. And they are not finalizing the drying, meaning we will finish the drying in Germany. Of course, the purpose is to be in the dispensary, not dispensary because in Germany it's under pharmacies because it's not recreational markets, it's a medical market, but it depends on the microbiological tests we will perform in Germany. We are pretty sure that everything will be very good for to sell it as inflorescence. But if not, also it can be sold for a starting material for extraction. But after I spoke with my partners in Germany, they are very, very pleased. They saw the flowers, and there is no way that we will fail. It will be inflorescence for pharmacies in Germany.
Perfect. Well, I mean, this isn't the first shipment. Actually, I've seen some bigger shipments to Israel from Uganda. Specifically, I think there was a 1.2 ton and a 600 kilogram shipment. And I mean, you've had that experience, and the Israeli consumers quite selective as well. So, how was that experience? Why is it that Israel and Germany is increasingly starting to look to countries like maybe Colombia and Africa for potential sourcing?
I don't know why they're looking, if they are looking for African countries, but I can speak for myself. Other Israeli companies are importing mostly from Canada, actually, or from Portugal. The facility in Uganda is our facility, meaning Together Pharma. A couple of words of Together Pharma, maybe you will understand the operation better. In Israel, we have also a farm, 20,000 square meters of greenhouses with a post-harvest facility. And we have additional Israeli medical cannabis GMP facility who has the license to do extractions and medical cannabis inflorescence to sell in the Israeli no dispensary pharmacies. So it's easier for us, and it's much more logical for us to import from our facility in Uganda. The facility in Uganda was built according what we knew of the Israeli standards. So we built it according to the similar to the Israeli standards. Of course, a couple of adjustments to the Ugandan climate. I can say the benefits of Uganda is that, of course, the cost for inflorescence in, I cannot say for all Africa, but I can for surely say that in Uganda it's much cheaper than to grow in Israel, and absolutely it's much cheaper to grow than growing in Germany or in other cold countries. African countries, especially those ones who are growing near or on the equator, have the best advantages in all over the world. I'm not talking about just the quality. I'm talking about even the quality, if you know how to grow, of course, and the cost of the starting materials of the inflorescence.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, the biggest thing, and I've always said this as well, is, where you grow is important, but it's your final release that matters. Because if you can't release a product with the right testing for analytical or micro, you don't have a sellable product. And the partnership, obviously, I mean, there's been stages. I know Israel was very strict for the first 6 months of this year with importation of products. So it's great that you've had that experience, bringing the deliverable to Israel and the demand, because it's a mature medical market. And then it makes it easier for you to springboard into the biggest European market, Germany, and then subsequent markets. So in terms of that, what was the biggest lessons you saw from the analytical and microbiological testing? Because I mean, this is one where it is always difficult when you have an operation in a remote area, like bringing it in from Uganda. Did you see that there were challenges with the analyticals, or you were ready for those from the start?
No, there are challenges in analytical. Most of the challenges are in the labs to do the analytical, because not all labs have the ability to check for the required test for the starting materials or the final goods. It's the same, but mostly it's about testing and checking the cannabinoids. Because testing microbiological TAMC, TYMC, meaning moles or microbiological test, it's almost the same if you're checking, I'm not a lab guy, but I'm sure it's almost the same if you're checking apples or if you're checking inflorescence. This is it's same origins. But we imported the standards for the laboratory, and we are working with the national laboratory in Uganda. And if we are importing to Israel, we are doing additional tests in Israeli labs. And if you are going to Germany, as I mentioned before, you are going to be testing that in an EU GMP laboratory in Germany. So we are doing all the tests we are needed to.
No, excellent. Yeah, I mean, proficiency testing in like local remote labs is difficult. So it's great that you've rechecked it, and you would need to recheck it in your export territories. I noticed this has been an issue around. I've always seen that focusing on international markets is the main focus for a lot of cultivators. But there's a need for local cultivation and local access to patients in Africa. And I did notice in the press release as well that you have petitioned the basically Ugandan National Drug Authority to potentially introduce products in Uganda. How does access to products, CBD products, medical flower products look like in Uganda? And are you hopeful that you'll see some of those registered products coming onto the market?
I am a big believer in the African market, meaning I don't only believe that the African market will be good for export. I believe that there is going to be an African market as the European market will expand more and more. So also the African market, and you can see it also right now. We have started some tests with the NDA, the National Drug Authority in Uganda. That's right, and also with some of universities in Uganda to check the materials and the effects. We are trying to establish a market, a local market. Currently there is no local market for THC or CBD products in Uganda. I believe there is going to be one, as I believe that there's going to be one in South Africa. I believe there is going to be some in Kenya, Uganda, and more strong African countries. Maybe it will take more time, but it will happen for sure, because African medicine likes the herbal medicine also. They always use the herbals for their own medicine, and they know, even if you speak with old Ugandans, they know these plants. They know these plants because their grandmother made some potion from it to reduce the pain or to kill something else, not to kill diseases. But so they have the knowledge. They don't know why, but now it's the time of doing it under pharmacies, and it will be.
Yeah,
It will be for
perfect.
sure.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the biggest challenge, and I suppose this is a bit of a westernized problem, is that need for dossiers, drug manufacturing files. We see it also with novel foods, having a dossier for novel foods in the UK. So, I mean, I do anticipate, Africa needs to look at it realistically and say, look, there's an unregistered medicine scheme and there's a registered medicine, and cannabis will take time to get more registered products like an Epidiolex. But there's a lot of phase 3 studies and the rest that are going to support the benefit of cannabinoid-based therapies. And like you said, in 10 years, it will be obvious to the medical fraternity. But at this point, it's just fighting the anti-prohibitionist sentiment. I mean, it was in the US pharmacopoeia, 100 years ago. So the benefits, like you said, are known. They're culturally accepted. And then for me, the big question is, I mean, there's a lot that you guys have been doing from international shipments, making a big noise for African potential in the market space. Where do you see the next strategy for the next 2 years for Together Pharma? If we close off with maybe that question.
Look, I can tell you that everybody looks and say, how long is Together Pharma is an operating company? So we just started our operation 3 years ago, maybe around 3 years ago. And in these 3 years, we have established a huge facility in Uganda, 32,000 square meters of greenhouses and 2,000 square meters of post-harvest facility, even ready for GMP products to be done. It's very good. It's very good and very big facility. We have, as I told you, facilities in Israel. So I'm finished establishing and building all my facilities. So I believe the next 2 years will be to enter markets, meaning you're talking about 400 kilograms. Let me tell you something. It doesn't matter if it was 400 kilograms or 200 kilograms. Meaning after I will sell the first 1 kilogram in Germany, because I will do all the chain of the supply and the tests. And they will know that and they will surely know that the flowers from Uganda are very, very high quality. So we will do more and more shipments. The thing is just sell the first one, and then you are increasing the demand. So you're looking that we're on the fact that we sent to Germany, but don't forget that after we sent to Germany, Germany is a EU GMP facility, meaning from Germany, I can send flowers. And I have also invitations from the UK, from Poland, and other countries that it will be easy to sell EU GMP. I will not need to say, okay, this is from Uganda.
Yeah.
This will be EU GMP products.
Yeah. No,
and the Israeli market will change also, meaning you can see that Israeli market in the past 3 years is multiplied by 3, and it will raise and raise it. And they are talking about recreational. And if you will ask me 3 years ago if I believe in recreational in Israel, I will say surely no. But now I can say, well, there is a good chance that there's going to be a recreational market in Israel. And then we are talking about around 1.5 million consumers. And as you read, there was elections in Germany, and the new party is a believer in recreational also. So the whole world, the medical cannabis or even the recreational cannabis world map will change in the next 2 years. So we are just in the diapers. We are now starting to walk. And we will raise and raise weight. There is more room for more markets. The current markets will expand. Maybe the states will open for also in federal way. We don't know what will happen, but for sure it will be interesting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And to close off on those comments, I mean, I do like and understand that process of GACP putting into a GMP facility in an EU zone. I know Malta was looking to set up a lot of these type of transactions. Germany would be typically the pinnacle if it's released from an EU GMP facility there. And the nice thing is, like you said, if the US market, if they get involved heavily with rescheduling, it may be that there's a demand for GACP source material, and that's not the norm, as we know, in a lot of the states throughout the US. So there may be great opportunities for high quality, highly controlled flower from international markets. And thank you. I can only say thank you, Nur, for your time. Appreciate it. And I'm going to show a quick clip to your facility after this, and look forward to future engagements and more success for your activities in the region.
Looking forward for the next interview after we will sell the first ton in Germany.
Awesome. Good luck.